It's like beating up somebody in your town that's terrorized you for, in this case, decades. It's like the end of some sort of high school movie from the 80s. All the years of seeing that Yankee symbol on those hats, which is still, I think, the coolest hat, but I was never willing to admit it publicly. And just feeling this ultimate rage, just despising every single Yankees fan that I'd ever known in my entire life because I knew they were better than me. Well, I was living in Boston, so I was in the park for Game 3 at Fenway. The Sox had dropped the first two in '04, and A-Rod hits a home run. You know, they just pour it on the Red Sox. They score a million runs in that game. Final score was 19-8. I went across the street to the baseball tavern with my buddies, and we were just like, this is pointless. Like, this is totally pointless. So then when they won the next two games in extra innings, it was like they're just fucking with us again. Like, that's all this is. But then you kind of started believing all over again. Considering the history of the two franchises and just the vibe of what those two cities are like and what those people are like, and knowing deep down you were just never as good as them, it's one of the biggest shifts in the history of professional sports, because it wasn't just about coming back in a way no one had ever come back. It was about feeling differently when you saw that Yankee symbol for the first time in your life.
That was our job. If we can get swept, but let me tell you, don't let us win today. Then Game 7, anything can happen. We can have you out there. I'll put you at second base. You know, Game 7, anything can happen.
You know, Millar's a big personality, but that clip, you just see it all the time. You're like, did Millar actually believe that? Or did Millar know that the team needed somebody to say something absurd? Because Millar just wasn't going to give a shit. Like, do you think Millar was going to care if that ended up being historically like this horrible take? What was he really sacrificing? Because everybody had kind of given up. And that team was so loaded, and they were so good. And the '03 thing was so incredibly depressing. But it was what everybody was used to. This Texan sort of Bruce Springsteen, but California, like, what the hell is this guy doing? Why is he being positive? They're down 3-0 again. This is humiliating. They're getting destroyed in all the local coverage. Why would I want to believe in this actually happening? And Millar was right. I don't know if he did it because he believed it or not, but it was nice that somebody believed in them because nobody else did. The feeling of just surging, this raging confidence that nobody really knew what to do with. It wasn't, you didn't grow up with it. You're like, wait, I feel great about the Red Sox in the World Series, and everybody did. And it was kind of a walkover. There was always this theory that if the Red Sox ever win it, it's going to ruin it. And I mean, you want to talk about like infuriating fans being like, so this whole point of this thing that we're hoping would happen and took out grandfathers and fathers and, you know, all of this stuff, this haunting feeling, the end of the pursuit, would that ruin the relationship between the fan base and the team? I don't think it happened just in '04. I do think that the city expecting success, especially with the run that city's had with all of its four sports since the very beginning of the 2000s, that the entire thing shifted. It shifted. The New England fan no longer expected the worst. They expected to win. They were annoyingly pessimistic, and then they became annoyingly arrogant. And I just don't know that it'll ever be the same. It's just not going to be the same when you're in pursuit of something that took 80 years to accomplish.